Why are there two Jean Greys in X-Men 97, and why is one of them calling herself Madelyne Pryor? Come in close and let me tell you the tale of the Goblin Queen, and also why Cyclops fans need to be thanking X-Men 97 for cleaning up their boy's backstory a little bit, because the year was 1983 and Jean Grey just died at the end of the Dark Phoenix saga. We don't get sad anymore when Jean dies, because Jean Grey dies like the average person takes a nap. But this was not known during this ancient era called the 80s. So the team is sad, Scott is sad, and then he goes and leaves the team to go be sad in Alaska, which is where he's from. While he's there, he meets a pilot named Madelyne Pryor. Things do get a little bit messy, but initially, while Scott was mad suspicious, he ultimately falls in love with Madelyne and just accepts her as a normal girl who happens to bear an uncanny resemblance to his dead wife, which isn't weird at all. They fall in love, get married, and then Scott quits the X-Men to go live in Alaska with Madelyne, who ultimately gets pregnant. But this is Scott, Xavier's first child soldier, Summers, okay? That man was still showing up for team missions. He is out saving hoes while his wife is back at the X-Mansion going into labor on the kitchen floor. This does not make Scott reflect on his life and vow to be a better husband and father. No, he fights a powerless Storm for leadership of the X-Men, loses, clock it, then he quits the team. And you might be like, oh good, what a wonderful opportunity for this man to fix his marriage and his life. No, Scott Summers is incredibly handsome and powerful, and he's a tactical genius. If you want this man to also be good at relationships, you need to manage your expectations. Jean came back to life, and Scott, knowing where home is, went right on back to the X-Men. Yup, girl, abandoned his wife and his newborn son. Basically, what happens next is Maddie tries to leave and get her stuff together because she deserves happiness. The baby gets kidnapped. She teams up with the X-Men to try to save her kid, and in the process gets involved with Havoc, aka Alex Summers, aka Scott Summers' little brother, because she ends up getting knocked into a coma where a demon tortures her with images of Scott and Jean, which ultimately causes her to snap. And honestly, girl, same. This unlocks her psychic abilities and magical abilities that she uses to summon demons. And again, girl, same. And when Madelyne confronts Mr. Sinister, who stole her baby, he tells her that she is a clone of Jean Grey that he created, that the Phoenix brought life into when Jean had died. And he was the one that orchestrated her and Scott meeting so that he could take the baby that they made between them. On top of everything else that I just mentioned, imagine being frustrated and insecure because you keep getting compared to your ex's ex and you will just never be her. And then you find out that you are literally that bitch's clone. Gave your husband a son and he still went back to her. I'm just gonna take this moment and say that anything that Madelyne Pryor does as a villain is justified, because what the fuck? And Jean, you ain't really a girl's girl, because how you ain't crushed that man's testicles once you found out how he played with somebody's heart in the name of loving you. There's so much more to Madelyne Pryor's story, but that's everything that's relevant to episode 3 of X-Men 97. And y'all see how they switched it up, right? Made Cyclops a much less shitty person and gave us a very complicated, iconic storyline in 2 episodes. They also kept the Goblin Queen extremely cunty, as they should. And if you're familiar with the original X-Men cartoon, then you already know that we've seen the baby in question in this series as a time traveler visiting from the future. Nathan Summers, aka Cable. I feel like next we should touch on Storm, her powers, and that fuck ass mohawk. Y'all don't even have to say go, I'm already there. I will see you on the next video.